Good evening to members of the media. Just huge compliments to this fantastic group of players. I don't think they get enough appraisal. It's not easy to physically to do what they are doing. It's not easy mentally to do what they are doing. So congratulations to this group. Congratulations to the club in its entirety. Congratulations to the Yellow Nation. Difficult win against a team that lost in the midweek. Had extra motivation also to beat us, and so congratulations. It's an important win.
Coach, there's been some comments made about Sundowns and particularly you and your technical team, where some say, guys have financial power over, your competitors, and some say that they can match you in terms of your technical team's level. Do you think that's a way of discrediting the success that you guys have created here at the club?
The game belongs to the players. That's from my response. The game belongs to the players. None of those coaches, neither myself, we've not scored a single goal as professional footballers. We've not created and it's not important whether we can match each other or not, because we'll never see that contest. The game belongs to the players.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening, Karabo. Thank you.
Coach, in the second half, I think around about the 75th minute, one of your players was tackled 2-feeted. I'm not sure who that is, but the entire bench stood up, the players, the coaches as well. It shows something unique and special, Coach. Can you maybe just a couple of 2 minutes or less just to explain how exactly did you get to that point of this is now a family, these are brothers now, more than anything else?
No, it's a culture that's been at the football club even before I arrived. It is a culture that I found here as an assistant coach, and it is a culture that has continued, and it is huge credits to the leadership of the football club, the Motsepe family, and ours is just to continue with that, and that's what we try to do. And as I said, incredible compliments to the players. The game of football is all about the football players.
Thanks, Coach. Sabo from DStv.
Sure, Sabo. Thank you.
Stretching the lead, okay. I think it's 13 points now. Some of us are tempted to say, this train is not stopping. It's like probably you won't get to go down the wire. Is it also what you guys are thinking, or are you focusing on game by game?
No, we go game by game. We know we are not at the level that we want to be at yet. A lot of people are saying we are not at the level that everyone thinks we should be. So we have no excuses, or we have no reasons to be in a sense of comfort. No reasons at all. So we know we will improve, and we'll continue to work hard to get better and better and better.
Coach, in the bigger scheme of things, how significant is this Shalula being back? Also coming back and immediately scoring, making an impact. Obviously, the Champions League, the limit of the season. How significant is to have him back, and what gives his way into full fitness?
Very important. Important player for us. Loved by the group, loved by the. You saw how everyone celebrated when he scored. Still the reigning footballer of the season, top goal scorer. So, and then we don't. This is what I am saying to you guys, to say, if you discredit the work that is being done by the entire football club, is a little bit unfair, because you have had the footballer of the season out and you are still 13 points ahead of number 2. You've had Rivaldo out, you have Bongani Zungu out, you've had Abdel, who we've signed to strengthen the team, out, Lebo Mabue out, you've had Peter Shalulile out, Nasir, who we've signed to improve the team, he's been out for majority of the season. And so when you consider what we have not had the luxury to be able to utilize in terms of the players that everybody knows, the quality that they bring to this Mamelodi Sundowns side. And this is why I say it's incredible what this group of players has done, because they continue to play week in, week out. Savradra Erwin has been out, and you can go on and on and on, but Tapelo Morena has been out, Terence Mashoko has been out. So why you don't give this group of players the flowers that they deserve? Because of they've taken on the responsibility with no complaints, no whinging, no whining, and they've played incredible football. And it's not going to happen every day where it's PlayStation, no. But if we are oblivious to the work that has been done, then it's, the game of football speaks about Toby Mvala, the level, Ronwen Williams, the level, Tebogo Mokwena, the level, then that level of consistency. Today we had no choice because of the mileage from Neo Maema, the level, the improvements. And so players, when they come here, they improve. But when you don't have time to train, how do you improve? And so that's why it's not always easy. We don't train at the moment. It's recovery and prepare tactics. It's recovery, and you could see that from the players like Pitso, for an example, Mkhulis. You could see he lacks the rhythm and the dynamism that he normally has. But it's because he's in the hotel and he's coming on 15, 20 minutes, and the next day he's traveling from Richards Bay. He has to do a bit of top up, but you have to manage the process. And then Sipho 2 games ago was sharp, and you saw the action when he came on to turn and create the build-up overload. And then after that, you can see the physical condition is struggling because they don't train. And that's the group I worry about the most, because that's the group that has to push and create this competitive feeling within the team. And at this moment, it's very difficult even to push them, So my hats are off to this group, because this group is special group, and the game of football belongs to them.
Do you feel, Coach, that there is still a way in which this team can still improve? And if the answer is yes, where or how? Is there, can you even say there's a ceiling for Sundowns, because they just seem to improve, even in terms of goals, but how they play and so on? And then let's get to the second question. Chippa, towards the end, they were taking the side of Rulani there. There were some, arguments, and the attacker was just on his shoulder. How did you see that one, and how could it have been, dealt with better? But I think it also led to
He will get better. He will get better. We struggled with Sailor at the beginning when he came to Mamelodi Sundowns, because there's a certain way we want the fullbacks to behave in and out of possession. And Fiso is predominantly a player that comes with a tactical history of being a wing-back. And so when you are a wing-back in a 5-man defensive organizational scheme, there's a lateral center half sometimes that even when the ball goes behind you, whether diagonal or maybe even if you unfold on the ball side, you've got an extra center back even who's not afraid to unfold and give coverage. But when there's two, it becomes very, very difficult. And so the behavior has to be a little bit more different for the fullback defensively. And we are trying to detrain the automation of a wing-back from Sifiso, while still keeping his wing-back offensive qualities. It's very similar, the process to Tapelo Morena, for an example. So it will come with time, because the first step is to detrain, and people don't understand that. But once you've detrained, then you have to now retrain, and that's a new process all on its own. It's a cognitive process with neurons, and it's got a lot of complications because the brain recognizes different pictures, and it's comfortable with pictures. For footballers in particular, they work in that environment and in that space. And so when you want to recreate the pictures, you've got to destroy the previous pictures, because those previous pictures come with even chemical releases of endorphins and serotonin and those type of feel-good hormones. And so the brain is a little bit sometimes reluctant to destroy the pictures. So will come. Like all the players that have been in this team, they're improving. Some are playing in different positions, and the work that we are trying to do in the way we want to try to play, and so but that's why we are here. That's why we are here. We are here to coach. We are here to give them a feeling that they can trust us and we can help them to get better. And that then takes you to your first question of, do I think the team can still improve? For sure. In football, you can always improve. In competitive sport, you don't have the luxury of sitting in one position because the others are improving. And so if you are not improving by means of the pressure from the competitive space that you are in with regards to the opposition, and one, two, the ambitions that you have, because we have very, very high ambitions, and the club has incredible pressure to maintain a certain standard of competitiveness in the competitions. Be that in the domestic competitions, we have to do better in the Champions League, and we know that these type of performances are not good enough to help us to get into the semi-finals of Champions League. There's a Super Cup, Super League that's coming. We have Club World Cup ambitions, and so for sure, if it's not by improving by default, then it has to be definitely. When I say default, I mean from a competitive space. Then it has to be an internal drive that has to push us to a different level. And if you want to talk tactics, I think for sure, if you look at how we protect a lead, then there's going to have to be a lot of improvements. And I don't like the team that protects a lead by protecting the space instead of protecting the ball. That's where we have to get now. Is protect the ball more, hide it, put it away, because that's the most dangerous thing when you're in the lead. Not the space. The space is, they need the ball to activate the space, but without the ball, nothing happens in the game of football. So. But that also it takes a bit of time to develop that personality, but we will get them. We've got a very good group of human beings. They will learn. They are willing to learn, and that's the most important thing, and that's the feeling that I get.
Coach,
Sure, no.
Coach, when we speak about the team, when we speak about Sundowns, we often speak about how great they are offensively. But I want us to speak about the defensive part of the team. This is your 10th win in a row, and in this 10 games, you only conceded 2. I mean, I think towards the end of the game when Ronan saves and somebody clears off the line, and you even change personnel. Toby comes in, he looks good. Grant comes in, Roche comes in, Mandela, everybody comes in, they look good. Good, Coach, I want you to blow your own for a bit. How good is your team?
How I'll respond to that is I'll respond in failure is important in life, very important. I was a coach. Many will say whatever they say, but I was head coach of a big club for 11 matches, and that team scored 16 goals in 11 matches. But after that, the team conceded more than they scored. That gave me some time to travel to Europe. I took those 11 games and I tore them apart. I had coaches around me, experts, analysts at a very high level in Europe, and we analyzed my training sessions, my methodology, and that's why I have this paranoia with rest defense. And people say, he uses this terminology and blah, 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 blah. But I have the paranoia because it was a life lesson. It was a football lesson that I had to go through as a coach to get better. But that process involved failing. That process involved losing a job. And it was painful, but it was important because it allowed me to reflect on so many things. I took out the sessions and I took out the documents and I sat down and I analyzed and I looked and I said, but where do I have to improve? And I could not get into that space if I did not fail. And so the takeout for me is understanding that in life it's not always going to be tequilas on the beach. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. And so in the moments where you are thrown with curveballs and you have to duck and dive, and sometimes you stumble and you fall. But it's important that you fall forward and you learn. And this is how I will respond to that question without going too personal about what that reflects on this team. Because, as I say, this team is about the football players and the quality that they have, and I agree with all the coaches in this league that say that.
We have the last two questions.
Coach?
Sure, Kens.
Mokwena arrived in the middle of last season, and then at the end of the season, he said he wasn't happy with himself, wasn't happy with his level, not even just performances, but the level of his football. This season, I've been reading up on Laduma analytics, like some of the stuff that he's been doing and how
Goosebumps.
Yeah, you could even argue that he's a contender for the season, like stand-up contender. Could you maybe give me a surface level? Because I'm sure with him it's a bit more critical with you and him or whoever is working with him in the technical team. Can you give me a surface level mid-season performance review of Prem?
Difficult because if I do Debza, I will have to do everybody because I'm not the coach that likes to single out individuals for sure.
I'm singling him out.
Yeah, no, I know, but the challenge is not the question, is the answer. It's always in South African journalism and in the newspapers. It's not what was he asked; it's how did he respond to what he was asked. And so I've got to still try to keep the team together. There's still a very long way to go. There's a certain, in the way we want to play, there's a certain profile of a midfielder that, and when we, at the beginning of the season, when we moved Debza into 6, it was, but how does he play 6? People were questioning the move, and we had very valid reasons why we needed that type of profile of a 6 in relation to the type of profile of 8s that we have, and there's a balance that we have to strike in the midfield profiles, and we would love to have a Musa Nyatama type of 6, but it's not that type of deep lying playmaker because it needs different characteristics because it doesn't have the profiles that you have in relation to what covers. You said I must scratch the surface. I'm gonna struggle because there's so much detail into this thing. because we play in a specific way with specific demands for specific details in offense, in defense, in rest defense, in transitions. And what I can say is that when you happen to be a good human being, like Debza is, and many of them are, it is easier to coach you. And Debza happens to be an incredible athlete with a lot of work that was done in his development phase, and incredible compliments has to go to the coaches at Harmony, at Supersport United that worked with him. The coaches that worked with him, even in the first team and national team setups, he's got incredible experience and even very good youth competitive experience. And that helps, having played the Olympics, having played important games of consequence even at international level. And when you look at that type of makeup and that type of profile, it helps to have that. And so what is the difference? And different to what is the demands at Mamelodi Sundowns, what is the demands for a player that has the qualities that he has and that competitive experience that he has, is that he has to do it for 30 plus games. 8 games, 9 games, 10 games is not enough. And that's why to do a mid-season report is for me very, very difficult, because the challenge now is, and for many of them, is can you do this for 30 games, 35 games, 40 games? Can you get to that level? Because that's where the level is. Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, the best players in the world have one very important thing, and that's consistency. And regardless of how well you've been yesterday, it doesn't matter. You've got to be better tomorrow. You're training, they've got to come and train tomorrow, even if it's a regen session, and come and train as if they've lost 2-1. Do video analysis and not come into the video session and slouch and come late but it's and that is very, very difficult. So they come tomorrow morning, already the clips will be ready, the analysts will have the clips from me and the coaches, and we will watch and review a couple of things, and they've got to attend that session and then do regen work as if we are a team that is on a losing streak and not an unbeaten run.